All right. Again, thank you for joining me this morning or this afternoon. We'll spend with you the next hour or so talking about education-based certifications in general that are available from the International Institute for Software Testing, but I will focus more on the CSQM, the Certified Software Quality Management Certification. My name is Magdas. I'm the chairman and CEO of the International Institute for Software Testing. Just a brief thing about me. If you have not listened to me before, I've been around, as you can see, since 1975. Started my professional life as a developer. Then I started to do more of development lead, project managers, and I shifted to QA and testing sometime in the mid 80s after I came to the United States to do my PhD at the University of Minnesota. In fact, I was very privileged to work for a number of companies within the Twin Cities area in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. But then very soon, once I started to hold a position as a professor of software engineering at the University of St. Thomas, I had more time to, during the day, to do a lot of consulting. The thing about the University of St. Thomas is all professors must be doing consulting all the time because students at that program, especially the program where I was teaching the Masters of Software Engineering, they were mainly professionals like yourselves who have a job during the day and they come in the evening and weekends to do their master's degree. So as a result, professors are always supposed to be consulting. So I had a great chance to work with local and other companies around the country doing consulting work, looking at their projects, finding out where the problems are. And very soon I realized that when it comes to software testing and the quality, we're not doing a great job, really. So at the time, I had already founded the Software Dimensions Consulting and Training in 1996. But then my dream came true when I founded the International Institute for Software Testing in 1999. Since then, IIST has been offering education and education-based certifications to companies and organizations around the globe. And the reason I'm, of course, mentioning this is because the presentation today really has to do with that. So here's what I'm planning to cover today very quick. First, we need to understand why do we need to be certified? Do we even need to worry about that? Do we need to care about, why should we care about getting certified? And then if we decide to get certified for the good reason, of course, then how do we go about evaluating a certification program? How do I, if I know 2, 3, 4 places that can give me certification, how do I go about evaluating that? I will explicitly emphasize on the difference between what we call education-based certifications versus exam-based certifications. All right, because as an educator, as you can imagine, I only believe in education as a way to establish a profession and to gain a career in any field. We can't simply be professionals in any field and without receiving the education we need. I will show you in general all the certifications from IIST, but then I will emphasize on the CSQM, the Certified Software Quality Manager. We'll talk about the objectives, why CSQM was created in the first place, and what the advisory board of IIST have envisioned for CSQM. And then I'll talk about the requirements, how to achieve CSQM, and then I will close by a discussion about the cost of achieving CSQM as well as other certifications from IIST. So why do we get certified? Why do professionals need to get certified? You really need to ask that question to yourself before you even think of getting certified. Okay. Of course, every one of us gets certified for all kinds of reasons. We get certified because we want to become more marketable. We want to find a job. We find that employers are not hiring people unless they are certified. Well, if you got to understand your reasons, because then once you understand the purpose for which you're getting certified, then that will help you select the right certification program. In my opinion, the main purpose of certification, any kind of certification, must be always to gain education that helps you do a better job. Okay, if I get certified but I have not gained any education or any training that helped me a better job, do a better job, then I wasted my time and money. You want to always be able to contribute in a positive way to the success of your organization. Why? Because that's the only way that your organization is going to keep you. That's the only way a company will keep you employed. Not because you just want to. Then companies want people to be certified, not because of the certification itself. It's because of the impact of those certifications on their success, and that's what they hope. So if a company invests in you to be certified, they're looking for a return on their investment. They're not just paying you the money to certify you because they just like you. No, they don't like you as much as they like themselves. They want to invest in you to benefit the company. So if you get certified by any certification program, but you don't benefit the company with that certification, well, guess what? You wasted your money, and very soon companies realize that, and the companies have already realized that, and companies have realized that there are so many certifications out there. As I heard it from one person on the internet, there are many certifications out there that are not worth the paper it is written on. It is not worth the paper it is written on. And I do not want to name certifications, but I want you to be aware of that. I want you to know that there are certifications that your employer does not care about. Okay, so you waste your money and resources, and you waste your energy to get a certification that no one values anyway. I don't care what it is. I mean, there are big name certifications that companies started to realize that they have no value whatsoever, and there are reasons for that. I will explain them to you. Please understand, I'm not saying this from a vacuum. I've been an educator and a specialist in developing the programs for the last 20 years. Okay, I understand what it means to have a program that can help employees improve their performance and contribute in a positive way to the success of their organization. Of course, you wanna boost the credibility of the test and the quality organization, or the test and the quality profession. Why is that? Because we all know that testing and QA is something that not too many people think very highly of. Although I'm certain many of us are very professionals, we do a great job, and by the job we do, we make others respect us and respect what we know and respect how we can contribute to the project. But many people do not think very highly about the testing and the QA profession. All right, so we want to always be able to demonstrate some level of professionalism on the job, and that level of professionalism is not going to happen because you got certified. No, it is going to happen because you know what you're talking about. All right, to me, the value of any certification program lies on how it helps you as a professional achieve those goals. Okay. And keep in mind, education is the only way to create and advance a profession. Without education, we are not going to go anywhere. You're listening to an educator who have educated thousands and tens of thousands of people around the globe. That is my view. If you have a different opinion, please share with me. Okay? Without education, we are not going to get anywhere. Without the proper training, not just any training. We are not going to go anywhere. All right. So how do you evaluate a certification program in any field? Okay, there are many places that give you certifications, different things. So what you look at to start with is the body of knowledge that you're supposed to master in order to get that certification. How comprehensive that body of knowledge is. By comprehensive, I mean how much does it cover? Am I happy to find a certification that the body of knowledge is described in only 30 or 40 pages? That's not going to help me go anywhere. I can sit down after dinner with a glass of wine and read 30, 40 pages, if that's what it is. And I can take an exam. But at the end, what did I learn in 30, 40 pages? To me, I'm going to add to this because of my latest experience. Where did this body of knowledge come from? Who came up with the body of knowledge? And of course, we hear about a lot of international certifications. And you look at the people who put the body of knowledge together, they're big names. But I think I want to know, are they practitioners? Do they know what it takes for projects to succeed? How much will you learn from the process of getting certified? It's not how easy it is, how fast it is, and how cheap it is. You'd be getting certified for the wrong reason. How much would you learn? And how would this help me do a better job? Okay? As I said, the key is you want to do something your employer will really value, whether it is your current employer or your future employer, if you're looking for a job or if you are planning to go somewhere else. Okay? Now, most certification programs have what we call prep courses. And some of them, actually most of them, none of them require you to take the preparation courses. Many of them just allow you to go and take the test. All right. Let's assume that you want to learn and you're going to take that prep course. Is that prep course to prepare me to pass the test? Or that prep course is giving me knowledge that I can use in my projects that they can improve the way I do my job? Guess what? I've seen a lot of prep courses in different certifications without naming any one of them. That I read the material for the prep course, and trust me, I have all of them here. It's ridiculous because the prep courses are trying to get you to memorize things that are going to be in the test. So you take a prep course for a given certification for 3 days, and you look at what you're supposed to be learning to pass the test, and none of it, or maybe very, very little part of it, makes any sense. Being in testing and the QA for over 25 years now, you can imagine. I can assess things and see if they make sense or not. And I look at these and say, do I want my testers or my QA people learning these things? Do I care? If they know that the definition of a test case is this way or that way or that way, who cares? So a lot of many certifications out there have prep courses that are meaningless. By the way, I am getting a message from the system telling me that the audio might be degraded because of audio problems. Everyone still hear me fine? If you're still hearing me fine, please raise your hand. All right. Sapna Valerie, thank you. Anyone is having a problem? All right. Remember, if you have a question or a problem, you can always share with me on the questions panel. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Great. So prep courses are a misconception. They are a misconception. They're a fallacy. They don't teach you anything. And that's what they call, why they called. They're called the prep courses. Why? Because they prep you, they prepare you to pass the test. Some of these prep courses I have seen, they focus so much on giving you samples of exam questions and how the questions are going to be in the test. And some of these courses, people sell them based on how many exams. It's like, you know, it's like when your kid goes and take an SAT exam or ACT exam or one of those assessment exams there. Yeah, maybe in that case you care about how many sample exams you're going to do. But we are professionals. We are professionals. We are not taking an exam to allow us to enter college here. We want to learn things to help us with the job. So it doesn't matter how many sample questions are going to give me, and some people out there compare the price of their prep course and based on how many exams, sample exams are going to give you. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. We are damaging our profession, and I'm saying this to all those companies, to all those organizations that sell prep courses based on sample exams. Okay. Now, there is something important about a profession. You should not be required and forced to learn specific things. That's a very critical thing. Remember when you went to college, you wanted to graduate from college with a specific degree. Yes, you had certain things that are required for you to take, but there were other things that you had the flexibility to do. Those are the elective courses. You chose certain courses that are no one really interfered of how you chose them. You chose them based on what you like to do. In my opinion, a good certification program must give you the freedom to learn the things that are relevant to your projects and relevant to the things you want to learn to improve your performance and improve your projects and the performance of your company. If I require you to take certain courses or certain prep courses, and this is not what you care about, and this is not what is going to help you improve your job, then don't take them and don't take any one of those certifications. There must be at least some flexibility on what you can take. Okay? And the flexibility I'm talking about here, some people say, if it is certification, that everyone has to learn the same thing. Otherwise, it is not a certification. Well, yes and no. Because software is a very broad area. For example, I can just give you an example. At IIC, if you take one of the certification that requires you to take a course or to finish certain body of knowledge in requirement management, guess what? You have about 5-6 different courses in requirement management. You can choose one from, because each one of those courses have different focus. There is a course on just requirement-based testing, if you want to take the classical course on requirement-based testing. There is a course on discovering and testing requirements with use cases. Does this meet the body of knowledge? Of course it does. And you take a course like that if you are more interested in use cases. There is another course about discovering and testing requirements in agile projects, and you take that course if you are working in on agile projects, and it still meets the body of knowledge. Well, guess what? In order for all these courses to meet the body of knowledge, and the body of knowledge cannot be so rigid, it cannot be so solid. From the very beginning, in 1999, when I started the institute, and I invited those people who can join the advisory board. From the beginning, I was very much against a body of knowledge that you can put in a book and people can read. Because when you do, then the body of knowledge has to dictate everything you must learn. All bodies of knowledge at IIST, none of them is like that. They're all what we call topical body of knowledge. So it gives you the topics without giving you the details. The body of knowledge gives you the topic without giving you the details. As a result, you're supposed to cover those topics any way you wish. At IIST, we have instructors from different experiences. We do not dictate what they teach, what not. We only ask them to map the course material back to the topics in the body of knowledge. And then they have the freedom to cover things of their own experience. So if you take a course in discovering and testing requirements in Agile projects, you will find everything in that course mapping it back to the same body of knowledge that maps to a different course in that teaches use cases, for example. So the concept of topical body of knowledge is really the key. And I think that's why people like the whole thing about education-based certification, because they're not forced to learn specific things. They are not forced to learn specific things. All right? They're forced to cover certain topics, but there is flexibility on what you can choose. Here's my last thing about how do you choose a certification program. Will I be a better professional? And will I have learned better ways to do my job as a result of the certification or not? This is the way you should evaluate a certification. Will I be able to do a better job after I get certified? If you go and take one of those tests that if you pass, you get certified, I want you to ask yourself, when I take the time to study and prepare for the test, and I go and pay the fee for the test, and I pass the test, and I get certified, and I celebrate, and I announce it on my LinkedIn membership and every place on my blog and every place. That's all great. Now, have you become a better professional after you got certified than what you were before? If the answer is no, then you wasted your time. Please, please feel free to challenge me, to argue with me, to give me your reasoning. Because if you're silent while I'm saying these things, then I don't know if you agree or disagree. There is nothing wrong at all with disagreeing with me. And some people say, well, no, we can't disagree because it's common sense. Of course, it's common sense, but why aren't we following it? All right. As a result, when you choose a certification program, there are two main approaches. There's nothing else. There is exam-based certifications, and those are all certification programs that are outside IIST. Every certification program I've heard of in any field, okay, is exam-based. Meaning what? There is an exam you must pass. The exam might be 2 parts, 1 part, 3 parts. It's still an exam. And I listed those certifications only just a bit, but you can imagine how many other certifications that issue exam-based certifications. Every organization that certifies people is exam-based. Even if we go to areas like project management and so on, PMI is an exam-based. Okay? As I said, you have an optional prep course. None of that certification outside IIST require you to take a course. So practically speaking, if you can take an exam to pass, if you can pass an exam, you get certified. It's self-study. I'm not going to say that you take an exam without studying. You're going to have to sit down and study. in your own. But you know what? We can read books all the time. I don't know since when we learn from books. There are great books out there. But you've got to be a very self-motivated person to get a book and read. But then if the exam gives you limited number of resources to study or to read and take the exam, you're not gonna learn much. We contrast this with what we call education-based certifications. And I define education-based certification the way IIST offers them, because IIST is the only place, is the only organization around the world that does education-based certification. There are classroom training. There is instructor-led training, whether it is sitting in the classroom or online. There is an instructor who's teaching you, not material that are posted on the internet and you download and read. As I said, I don't believe in reading. I've seen people reading. They don't get anywhere. So it's not something you just read on your own. It's training. Okay, so you have the body of knowledge, you have the topical body of knowledge, and the courses must cover the topics within the body of knowledge. I'm a believer that in order to gain some depth in material, you have to take a test in every one of those courses. So at IIST, every single course has a test, very much like what you did in college a long time ago. This is the only way. I mean, you can imagine if you're doing a bachelor degree in whatever, they give you courses for 3-4 years, and at the end of 3-4 years is just to give you a test. How comprehensive that test can be? It cannot be. All right? So education-based certification is the way to go. Now, of course, that's what I say, but it's up to you. Now, there are those, wow, I realized that there is 2 missing certifications. I think I better put this chart in front of you. Okay. At this point, IIST has those 8 certifications. Okay. They started down here. This is the lowest. It is the lowest level certification: certified software test professional associate level. And go up, go the ladder, and this is the highest level of certification: certified software quality manager. In between, there's so much for you to achieve. And that's why we call this developing your testing and the QA career through education-based certification. This is not just one certification you achieve. This is not just 2 certifications to achieve. No, these are certifications to achieve, and you can see, you can start planning your future. You can start planning your career the way you want it to be. Absolutely. You start here. You take the certified software test professional associate level. And once you complete, and this is just requires 3 days of training, and you take an exam after that course. Once you achieve that, you can go anywhere you want. You can stop there if that's what you want to do, or you can go horizontally and start achieving other levels of CSTP, practitioner level and master level. And the number of days here tells you how many more days you need to do to achieve a certain level. Or you can go up here in 4 possible directions. All right, 4 possible directions. One of them, of course, is the one we're talking about today. After you take that course, someone says, oh, I want to get certified software quality manager. Well, guess what? Here it is. Now, in order to achieve a certified software quality manager, as we're going to see, the requirements are 10 days of training. But guess what? Even if you had no other certification, if you did not have this, you still do 10 days. So in a way, CSQM is the only certification that does not use any other certifications as prerequisites, and it does not give you credit for any other certification you achieved. The only credit you get is if you have PMI, PMP, No, actually, I'll take that back. Even if you are PMP, you don't get credit towards CSCQM for a reason. The body of knowledge of CSCQM, as we're going to see it, has 10 areas of the body of knowledge. And none of those 10 areas are covered by any other certification, even it is the one from PMI. Because of that, if you had no other certification or any other, it doesn't matter. You just come here, you have to take 10 days of training to achieve this. Even if you went all the way here, if you started here with IIST and you took, then you came and did, for example, CTM, Certified Test Manager. In order to achieve CSCQM, as you can see, you still have to do 10 days of training. Even the whole CTM, and CTM, the Certified Test Manager, and the Test Management Body of Knowledge, has 7 areas. But if you look at all the 7 areas of the Test Management Body of Knowledge, none of it at all has the stuff that you need to learn for the CSCQM. And that's why when you look at the CSCQM body of knowledge, it's very unique, very different, not covered by any other certification. Not even CSCQE, which is a Certified Software Quality Engineer by the ASCQ. I'm making that very clear. Some people have achieved CSQE, which is not the same as CSCQM. CSQE is a Certified Software Quality Engineer. The advisory board of IIST looked carefully at the CSQE and decided that none of the areas of the body of knowledge learned for the CSQE can count toward the body of knowledge of CSQM. It's just a matter of, did you cover the material or not? You have to cover it somewhere. All right. I hope this chart is not confusing. Again, always the number of days on a given line represent the number of days that you need to take in order to go from one box to another. So I know it goes from a box here to a line up here, but that's the same line that takes you to CSCQM. So there is no additional thing. So now remember, there are 2 certifications here: the Certified Agile Software Tester Professional, and those were the most recent 2 certification added. This is the practitioner level and this is the master level. And as we speak, IIST is working on a Certified Mobile Testing Professional. So mobile testing has become very important, and we are finalizing this very soon. All right, so this is the Agile certification. So if you're here, if you achieved the Certified Agile Software Tester Professional Practitioner level, you don't have to pursue the master level. You can go up and go to Test Automation, Certified Software Test Automation Specialist. And you start taking the 7 days that represent the 7 areas of the body of knowledge. I mean, I want you to know that those number of days are not just put like that. When you see 7 days like that, then you know that this certification or this body of knowledge has 7 areas. So the 7 days here must cover all the 7 areas of the body of knowledge of the test automation. When you see from the test automation certification to the CTM, there is 7 days, then you know that those 7 days need to cover the 7 areas of the body of knowledge of the CTM. Even if you achieve the CTM, that's very interesting, which seems to be higher level than Certified Software Test Automation Specialist. CTM is here. Even if you achieved that, guess what? If you want to become a Certified Software Test Automation Specialist, there are 7 areas of the body of knowledge that you must satisfy. So, and you have to take those days of training, even if you achieved this. Even if you achieve the highest level of certification, CSCQM, well, that's great. You become a Certified Software Quality Manager. But you have none of the areas of the body of knowledge of the test automation. And none of the areas of the body of knowledge of the Agile certification. So if you want to get any one of those, you have to cover those areas. This chart is available on the website, on the IST website, under the certification page. So if you go here, this is the new website, which is going to be rolled out sometime soon. So the chart is right down here. And it is also on the other website, and in the current website. If you go to IIST.org and you go to certification, it lists all the 8 certifications here, but the chart is down here. Okay. All right. Now let's focus a little bit on CSQM, Certified Software Quality Management. In fact, I'm going to tell you this. At the time we came up with this certification, the advisory board actually was trying to revise the body of knowledge of the certified test manager. So the advisory board started looking at the body of knowledge of the certified test manager to revise it. Then they realized that there is a lot of broad ideas that were not included in the body of knowledge of the test management. So the more we started to add, the more we realized that this is more than just a test management. This is more of a quality management. So they decided at the time to split, to keep the test management body of knowledge as is. And they agreed that the way it is, the test management body of knowledge serves the purpose of helping people manage test teams and test projects. And we came up with the quality management body of knowledge, which I'm going to share with you in a little bit. So, but we had to come up with a purpose. What are we trying to achieve? And here are the kind of things that we have seen to be essential for someone who is going to be acting as a quality manager or director of software quality or someone in that level. Evaluating, developing, and monitoring processes, whether those processes are for development or testing, for reviews, for inspections, for configuration management, for anything. Any process within the organization is the responsibility of the QA person. And we did not invent this. If you go back to what Dr. Edward Deming said, that's what he said. Quality management, the quality assurance is not about testing. It's about focusing on the process and improving the process. Establishing a product and the process standards. Establishing measurements to use to measure where we are and where we want to be. And this is true about, this applies to every process. Once I started talking about this, people say, well, but this is like more of a process improvement. Yes. Quality management is about process improvement. It's about improving the way we do things. Okay? If they have the capability, they should be able to assist tools in different fields. And they evaluate tools. They can assess the organization's capability. How good are we or how bad are we? And in order to participate in an assessment program, you have to know quite a bit. You can't just be a test manager or a test lead and claim that you can assist the organization's capability. If different departments, different groups, different projects are doing different things to improve their processes, then the QA manager is supposed to facilitate / coordinate efforts between projects. Okay. If one effort is happening in one direction and this effort might have an impact in another effort in a different project, then coordination is important. Being able to publicize success stories in every project, in any project. And of course, this happens through measurements. And many QA people are very capable, or should be capable, to act as consultants for projects that are having special problems. They come as a consultant, they look at the project, they see what needs to be done, what can we do to save the project, and so on. And there are so many things that are the responsibility of a quality manager. So as a result, the quality manager body of knowledge was designed to help those individuals gain those kind of knowledge. If you want to know the requirements, how they achieve CSQM, like all other certifications from IIST, they always have two requirements. One we call the formal education requirements, and the other one is the job experience requirement. Job experience. The formal education requirement always states how many courses and how many days of training you must satisfy. So for CSQM, it's 10 days of instructor-led training, whether they are in class or online, it doesn't matter. And those 10 days must cover all the 10 areas of the software quality management body of knowledge, which I'm going to share with you in a little bit. And it is also available on the website. One day must cover each area. So 10 days to cover 10 areas. That's very simple. If you want to take more than one day, that's fine, but you cannot leave other areas uncovered. And in order to make sure that a person has mastered the material, they have to take an exam in each one of those courses. And you take the exam and you pass by 80%. When you attend the courses, 80% is not difficult to achieve. 80% is difficult to achieve only for those who think they know everything and they don't pay attention to the course. We don't allow people to take the course without, to take the test without taking the course. So you have to take the course. The test is available to you only after you take the course. So very much. I mean, I was teaching at the Masters of Software Engineering for so many years. And I had those people coming to me. He says, I've been managing software projects for so many years. Do I need to take that course? I said, yes, you do. Why did I say that? It's because I've seen it over and over again. People who come and they think they know everything, they take the test and fail. So there is no what some people call test out. You can't test out of a course. You have to take the course because the course is designed to teach you stuff in the body of knowledge that you don't have. We know that. We know that. You're going to see the body of knowledge in a little bit. And you take any area of the body of knowledge and take the title of the area and ask yourself, do I know about this? And you'll find that no, you don't, especially if you look at the details. So you must take the exam and pass by 80%. The job experience requirement, though, is simple. You have to have at least 3 years working on software projects. We're not asking you that you have to be 3 years as a quality manager. But you can't just come from anywhere and say, I want to become a software quality manager. So you have to have at least 3 years working in software projects. We're only asking that 1 year in a lead or a management position. Now, do you have to be lead in software testing or lead in development? It doesn't matter. A lead or a management position. And we're not asking that you achieve this or you satisfy this requirement before you start the program. It's not a prerequisite. It's a requirement before you can get the certification, which means you can start the certification program and you can start taking courses and passing exams. In the meantime, you are completing your job experience requirement. If you plan for those 10 days to take 2 years from you, then you need to make sure that by the time you finish the coursework, you finish this requirement. This is important because some people think that, if I have not been in a lead position or a management position for at least a year, then I cannot start. No, you can start. This says this requirement must be completed by the time the CSCQM is granted. All right, now let's talk about the cost, because the cost is very important. When people ask about the cost of the certification, I say there is no cost for certification. There is no cost. We don't charge people for certification. Well, actually, I must take that back. The only thing we charge you is the graduation fee, which is $180. But the money you pay otherwise is not for the certification itself. It's for the training you're receiving. So based on the number of days, and these are the cost of all the types of certifications, but let's just go down here. Oh, sorry. CSCQM. It requires 10 days of training. Now, depending on how you're going to take the courses, because you can take the courses online, and if you do it, then each course is $395. Then 10 days is going to be roughly $4,000. If you take the courses in public training, like in one of the cities, like the conference that's going to be in San Diego in September, I'm going to show it to you in a little bit, then roughly you can take each, because of course any week of training has only 5 days. So you can take about 5 days of training. In fact, at the conference in San Diego, it's going to be much cheaper than this. If you go here, this is the International Conference on Software Quality and Test Management. It is going to happen in San Diego on September 29th, okay, to October 3rd. If you look at the program, you'll find that on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and the Friday, there are 5 different courses each day. Some of them count toward the CQM, some of them count toward the CTM, the Certified Test Manager. But as you can see, the cost of the whole week, the 5 weeks, is $17.95. $17.95. That's really less than $400 a day. So actually, if I go here, if you just take the 4 days, the month, of course, you know, if you take 3 days, it's $10.95. 4 days, $14.95, and that is $14.95 divided by 4 is what? Less under $400. Okay, all the 5 days are $17.95. Okay, so you imagine you divide this by 5. Okay. Let's go back here. And of course, don't forget that it's going to happen in the beautiful Sheraton San Diego Marina Hotel, which is right on the San Diego Bay. You can have fun while you are learning and being certified. This is my sales pitch for the conference now. Let's go back to my presentation. So it depends on how you're going to take the courses. Okay? But it ranges very much in that, between $4,000 to $5,000 for all 10 days. Okay? Now, let me go to full screen here. Of course, there is a recertification. So after you get certified by IST, there is a recertification. Just briefly speaking, for CSCQM, in order to be recertified or to maintain or to keep your certification current, you have to finish what we call 10 educational units over 3 years. So you got 3 years to finish 10 educational units. An educational unit is roughly 1 day of training. So yes, you need to finish another 10 days of training. But you know what? There are other things that count as an educational unit that are not necessarily like when you speak at a conference. Well, when you are in that level, we expect you to do things more than just taking courses. When you attend the conferences, professional conferences, you get credit. and those credit adds up. So I put the amount here, assuming that all the 10 units are going to be 10 days of training. And you can take, in fact, there's something very important about recertification of any type of certification at IST. You don't have to take any of the courses from IST. Okay, if you look at the recertification requirements, it says clearly you don't have to take them from IST. You just have to meet the requirements of the 10 units. You can take them anywhere. As a result, if your company is doing a training, but as long as the training is relevant to the CSEQM, don't go and take a course in C++ or Java, okay? Because a course in C++ or Java is not relevant to a certified software quality manager. But you can take the courses anywhere you want. Okay. The only thing I have left is just to share with you the body of knowledge of the certification. And of course, I did not want to copy into the PowerPoint, so it's right here. So as I said, the quality management body of knowledge has 10 areas, 10 core areas. The first one, briefly, I'm not going to go into a lot of details because I have only 8 minutes left. And before I go through this, let me peek into the questions. All right, I have a question here from Miranda. The experience requirement. I'm a manager of a team of manual testers for 4 years. That qualifies right there, because all what we ask is 3 years working in software projects, at least one year is in a lead position. And manual testing, automated testing, we have nothing to do with that. It's as long as you work it for 1 year to lead a project or lead teams that are working in software. As you can see, it's a so what you have counts, Miranda. Okay, and I can see that you got my answer. Another question: even if we are not learning from the certification courses, but sometimes it certified us what we already know and makes us more competitive. I'm assuming that's what you mean, competitive in the market to sell and to get a job. Okay, so Naveen is saying, even if I don't learn anything from the courses I take to be certified, I'm assuming Naveen is referring to the exam-based certification. Well, okay. If that's why you want to be certified, did I say don't do that? If your goal is to get certified because you want to get a job, then go take the cheapest way. Go and take a test that would cost you $300 or $400. And if you know you can pass the test, take the test, pass it, get certified, get a piece of paper. If you are having a job now, if you are employed, take that piece of paper, put it in the face of your boss, says, I got certified. I need to get a raise. Otherwise, I'm going to go somewhere else. You could do that. Then you go somewhere else. Now, it all depends on how much you know and how good you are. It doesn't matter what the certification is. So and some people believe so much in certifications, okay, as a label, as an acronym I can put after my name. If that's all what you care about, I mean, I gave you my view and thank you for asking that question or making that point, because it allows me to make my point as well. From the beginning I said you have to ask, what is the purpose of your certification? And you can be certified for any reason. I can be certified because I'm working for a company and there is a management position out there, and if I can go and read a book and take a test in 3-4 months and get certified, I am far ahead of others who are not certified. And maybe upper level management would look at that and give me that position over other people. But guess what, Naveen, just in case you don't know, managements are not that dumb. They're not that stupid. They're not going to give you position because you have a piece of paper that says you are certified, because they need to know how you got certified. The fact that you took a test and passed the test, it doesn't mean a thing. You know why? Because there are so many people out there who gave bad names to certifications by taking a test, passing the test, and you know nothing. I have heard of this from more than one hiring manager. And they were referring to a specific certification. And he said, we used to require people to be certified by this certification. And we hired a bunch of those, and they know nothing about testing. I'm not kidding. He said they know nothing about testing. They've never tested before. And they got certified. How did they get certified? Because they got the body of knowledge, which is about 90 pages, if I remember, and they memorized it. And they took the test. And they passed the test. There are certifications out there that used to certify people based on a letter of recommendation, and that's it. I have someone who approached me, and I've known her for years, and she's never done any testing. She came and asked me for a letter of recommendation to be certified by another organization. And I asked her explicitly, said, did you do any testing? And the lady said, no, but I think I know how to test. So I refused to give her a letter. I didn't tell her no, but I just let go. I said, okay, when I have time, I'll do that. Never give her the letter. Guess what? 3-4 months later, she said, I got certified by another organization. Those organizations explicitly gave bad names to certifications. And that's why some people out there say there are some certifications that are not worth the paper they're written on. But your approach is fine. If you get certified because you want to get a job, if that's your goal, that's fine. But how long you're going to survive in that job if you really don't learn something to help you do a better job? All right, thanks for the question. Okay, Naveen, we are on the same page. You keep saying you need a piece of paper. If you want to buy the piece of paper for $300, please go ahead and do that. That's really what you're doing. You're paying the $300 to take a test and to get the paper. And that's fine. Those certifications, they serve a purpose they were created for. You know, it's very funny that when I started the institute back in 1999, I got approached by a gentleman who happened to be a big shot at one of the companies that used to certify people. And because we had good relationship together, he contacted me. He said, Magdi, what are you doing? You know, we certify people too. So are you trying to compete with us? I said, Joe, and of course his name was not Joe, because if I tell you his real name, you might know what the organization is. I said, Joe, look at our certification, sir. We're not competing with you by any means. You certify people by giving them a test. If they pass the test, you certify them. We are not doing that. We are educating people. We're teaching people stuff. We do not certify people without finishing the requirements, the education requirements. We make sure that people know the stuff before they get certified. Anyway, I want to tell him that we are trying to restore the reputation of certifications. Thank you, Valerie. Take care, and hope to see you in future webinars. The body of knowledge, Valerie, is on the website. Please go to the IST website. I'm happy to send it to you, but go to the website and click on certification, click on CSQM, and you'll see the body of knowledge there. Right here. So if you go up here in the certification, CSQM is right here, and you scroll down, the body of knowledge is right here. It's listed there. It's just a topical body of knowledge, as I said, 10 areas. Okay, I don't have much time left, so I'll just either direct you to this website. It's iic.org or testinginstitute.com. And as I said, go to certifications. Actually, if you go to the homepage, right there. If you go here, the CSCQM is right here. All right, and the body of knowledge is listed below. Very quick, it's managing the software quality, establishing the software quality assurance function, verification validation methods, software development, integration, release, and support, project management and the planning. Someone says, oh, is this a PMI certification? No, but you have to have this area, configuration management, risk management, requirement engineering and management, software measurements and analysis, the agile software development methods. All right. So my apology that I did not go in any details in the body of knowledge, but I couldn't anyway. So please feel free to look at the body of knowledge and see how much of this you know. Thank you so much for being with me. Let me peek into the questions quick again one more time. Questions. All right. Again, thank you for being with me today. Hope to see you at the conference in San Diego. It's going to be beautiful there. Still have a chance to register. You take the courses. You attend the course. You can have all the 5 days for roughly $1,800.